Why do the workers deserve to own the means of production? Economics and sociology, the means of production are physical, non-human inputs used for the production of economic value, such as facilities, machinery, tools, infrastructure, capital, and natural capital. People that buy these things to make the business possible are your bosses and CEOs. CEOs are also responsible for handling the 80,000 pages of regulations that you don't have to, and the workers probably would not understand all those regulations and would probably be stressed out and not capable of leading themselves and would need a superior to keep them in check.
When will you stop using the no true Scotsman fallacy when someone points out the flaws of socialist/communist nations like the Soviets, Cuba, or Venezuela? I mean, it seems that whenever there is a group of people that bring up the idea of the laborers controlling all the means of production in an economy, that it just devolves down into centralized government control, just like examples of the Soviets, Cuba, and Venezuela. Like Lenin, for example, had the ideals of overthrowing the bourgeoisie, and then later came along his successor, Stalin, that centralized all control of the economy, and it wasn't really technically what you guys would have considered control of the means of production by the laborers.
In a communist or capitalist government, do we own our own bodies, or do you guys own our bodies along with most of the money we make?
When all yous retarded communists say
it's not real communism,
when it's obvious that it is real communism, what kind of communism do you think is successful?
Why do communists always try to convert capitalist countries into communist countries? Wouldn't it be easier to create a brand new country that is communist from the ground up? It is possible to have a capitalist society that is independent with just 10 people and have that society be extremely stable. Is it possible to have a similar communist society that is just as stable or more stable?
Communists, why do you want my shit? Go out, go to school, get a job, and pay for your own shit!
Since you guys say
true communism or true socialism has not been achieved,
or
at the very least never been practiced, and has not happened at all in our human history,
why in the hell should we try it on an international scale? Why would we let it take over the world if we don't know what the consequences of it are?
How will you guys attain this perfect utopia, this perfect socialist/communist utopia in the first place? Will it be via a violent revolution or gradual, bigger government control? Because if you try it with violent revolution, you know that people will resist, plus, not only that, you will have the establishment capitalist government fighting against you as well. But if you do it via gradual government control, which I hear a lot of you socialists go talking about how true socialism and communism is a stateless society, is the laborers controlling the economy, not the government. So if it is via gradual, bigger government control that you're going to attain this, then that kind of defeats the purpose of a stateless society.
What is it like to be the most uneducated, retarded fucks to ever grace this goddamn earth?
How do you know that you're not the fascists?
Communists insist that their society can and will exist without a government. If so, what happens when somebody in that society refuses to work? How do you deal with that? Also, how do you stop them from taking from the public supply?
Communists, why is it when a communist nation fails, you always say that it wasn't real communism? Sorry to tell you, but the entire process that is leading up to what you call communism is communism.
can you not see the hypocrisy you're displaying when you tweet out
resist capitalism
on devices that were created with capitalism? For instance, the video I'm editing right now for this video, using Windows Movie Maker and Windows 10 for this project, capitalism created it. A lot of our products come from capitalism. The clothing, the sunglasses, you name it, all comes from capitalism. And when you constantly bitch and piss and moan about capitalism, and you're probably sitting there with your iPhone on your soapbox tweeting anti-capitalist garbage, do you not see the irony that what you're using to spread your anti-capitalist message, the way you're able to do it is from something that is a product of capitalism?
I hear a lot of conservatives and libertarians say they do not like socialism and communism because it is basically centralized government control of the economy. And then a whole bunch of socialists and communists will say in response to that,
"You idiot, you do not know the true definition of socialism and communism. It is by definition the laborers controlling the means of production, the laborers controlling the economy, without a government, within a stateless society."
And so my question is, if true socialism is a stateless society, and when you get this perfect utopian stateless socialist society, how will you maintain and enforce people to abide by socialism? Say, for example, you get this perfect utopia of yours. Everybody is socialist, everybody is pretty much equal, and they all share the means of production with each other freely while they work. But say that there is a dissident, one dissident that keeps his own piece of land to himself, starts a business there, and with the business he creates, well, the means of his own labor. What if he keeps the means of his own labor all to himself and not to everyone else? And say, for example, that there is another dissident who decides, hey, I want to go work for the business owner. And so the employee doesn't get an exact equal share of the means of production by the business owner. What then? Will you guys implement a government to overthrow the business owner and seize his private property, all for the sake of making sure that his means of production gets spread out throughout the rest of society, throughout everyone else in the socialist utopia you dream of? How will you maintain and enforce your socialism without government?
How many times have you been punched in the face?